Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Raymond J. Negron. I'm a guide. I'm here. I run a small company called Beyond Failure to Reach Success. And I want to talk about impulses today, something that's been on my guest's mind. And it's how to control them. Like we all get impulses. Maybe it's addictions, like impulses are like addictions, right? And so are habits in a way. Habits are like addictions, right? When you get addicted to the right habits, what happens? Your life takes off. But when you get addicted to the wrong habits, what happens? Your life goes away, right? Your energy goes down. You get depleted. And in life, we have to add more energy to what we're doing and who we're being and what we're standing for. And again, who we're being, what we're doing, and what we're having in life all add energy to us. So I wanted to briefly describe impulses, right? Because they happen instantly. And I'm going to do a video about one of the tools that Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels talks about. And it's called the Black Sun. And I believe they're both therapists or hypnotherapists or something. And they do this tool that I've actually adopted into my own life. And I've done it over and over and over and over with certain impulses. And when you practice things, you get better at them, right? Practice makes permanence. Practice makes excellence. Practice makes consistency. And as you know, most of us, consistency is the key to success. So when I practiced this tool, the Black Sun, sometimes I had to do it like 4 or 5 times when I had like a impulse. Maybe it was to eat bad. I've had impulses to stay up late and do research for no reason when it didn't serve me any purpose other than just to stay up for the sake of staying up. Like most of you have had impulses that you just can't say no to, right? There are things maybe you have in the house. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's just a certain type of food that if it's on the counter, it's decimated. And you have to practice these or smaller impulses to larger impulses. And I'm going to explain it because it's going to take me a while to draw it up on the board. But it's a great tool that you use, which actually at first I just thought it was tricking me to just not think about the thing that I was trying not to do, whether it was being on the phone. But when I practiced this tool, it just served me at a higher level. It was, and it has an acronym, DEFG. And there's deprivation, emptiness, fullness, and giving. And when we have deprivation, it's depriving yourself of the thing. And what it is, this tool is like an imagination tool, and you're using it in your head, and you're doing it because an impulse happens between 1 to 3, 1 to 5 seconds, even less than. Our attention span has got so bad that a goldfish actually has longer attention than we have because we can't even focus. We can't even focus on a YouTube video of something valuable longer than 8 seconds. Isn't that crazy that a goldfish has a longer attention span than we do? Because we're in such an age of dramatic distraction that we can't focus. When you don't focus, you don't get good at things. You can't be a master at anything if you're distracting your attention, because what it is, it's nicking all the energy and it's nicking away your attention at the things that matter, right? Would you agree when you say no to things and you say yes to something that's important to you and you focus on that with energy, with entirety, with everything that you got, that you get more from it than not doing it, right? If you look back and reflect on your day, I'm going to have to drink some water, and you look at the things that you're like, oh my God, I was distracted by this, I was distracted by that, my phone rang. But when you do deep focus and you do deep work, you have a tendency to really get things done, right? And I believe this tool called the Black Sun that Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels put together, I use it for about 6 months to test it out because I have a few clients who are very impulsive and impulsivities where they have this impulse. It floods over them in an instant and they just do it, and some of them are private things, right? Like one has an internet addiction and he said, you know what, I would do that instead of doing the work. And yeah, because it's pleasure, right? And we're twice as likely to move away from pain as we are towards something that's good for us. I'm talking about like being disciplined to get your freedom, right? We move away from pain and we distract ourselves with pleasurable things. That's what humans do. That's what we're programmed to do. And in this techno culture has not allowed us to truly focus in on what we need to do. So I believe that's why majority of people don't get what they want out of life because of these things. You know, there's so much opportunity and it leaks into our life and we just let it distract us from it takes us instead of us leading ourselves. And what this tool does, the black sun, is it actually gives you energy. It actually has you relocate your energy from within, right? Instead of externalizing it, right? Because a lot of things we externalize, we're like, oh, we need that to either distract us from the thing that we actually want, or it distracts us from keeping us from doing the thing that we must or we need to be doing. So I'm going to explain it quickly. Actually, no, I'm not going to explain it quickly, but there's a letter. It's just D, E, F, G. I say Dep G, right? And the D is deprivation, and it's an imaginary exercise. When you use your imagination, right, that's where you get to make things. That's where you get to create things. That's where you get to create a life that's worth living and worth honoring, right? And the thing is, you wanted to, like, whatever it is, you know, for you. For me, I would go home and I'd be like, oh, I got to research. And all of a sudden I'd be going down an Amazon tube. Then I'd be going down an eBay tube. Then all of a sudden I'd be going down a YouTube tube. And then I'd be going down, instead of just saying, you know what, it's 10:30, it's time to shut off my alarm and go to bed. So when I noticed the cue and the trigger between doing the thing that I knew wouldn't serve me, even if I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it a few minutes, I knew that few minutes would turn into an hour. That hour would turn into an hour and a half. And then all of a sudden I'd be looking hazy-eyed at the alarm clock and say, you know what, it's almost 1 a.m. or midnight. This is crazy. And then I'd get angry at myself. And then I just throw the phone down and go right to bed. But the thing is, now I go home and I was doing this exercise and I was like, okay, I don't need to be doing this. I need to be going to bed. So it kind of like woke me up out of this kind of like sleepwalking zombie-like coma. You know what I mean? Of just doing this thing over and over and over again. And so I practiced this tool and I actually got to go to a live with Phil Stutz. He's kind of like a Bronx kind of guy from California. He lives in California now, but you can hear that like Godfather-esque speak. And I got to ask him a few questions about the tool, the Black Sun. And it was very interesting, the feedback he gave me. And he says, you know what, you have to do it a lot of times and it has to become kind of like a new pattern. And the thing is it gives you more energy. It gives you a life force from within. Instead of what we're doing, we're externally seeking power and validation when we should be seeking it on the inside. So I trusted the man. The man's been around. He's got 2 books. This is one of his books called Coming Alive. I don't know if you can see that, Coming Alive, Barry Michaels, Phil Stultz. He has another one called Tools. But you have to study these things. And I'm studying it in my line of work because it helps my guests. It helps my clients. It helps them get to where they need to get. And it's actually increased income significantly because of them practicing this tool. And I've noticed that. They said, oh my God, that 2 hours that I was spending at the end of the day was taking away and making me tired the whole entire next day. Since I've been implementing this tool and applying it to my life, it's given me more energy. It's given me more, right? Because now I get to properly rest. Now I get to properly be awake. I get to move. I get to be conscious of what I'm eating, how I'm breathing, how I'm exercising, how I'm sleeping, how I'm showing up, right? And being present and having an intentional aim towards what I'm doing. So to do this tool, it takes time. You got to do it in stages, right? There's 4 stages. First, I had to record it on the phone and listen to it in my car. And when I did that, I said, okay, I would use my imagination around it, create my own way of doing this, right? I respected the work. I did the blueprint, the framework that he teaches, but then I created my own. And at first, it took me 5-10 minutes to go through it, right? And then now I could do it within a few seconds where I flood and I get that emotional want of something, and then I can black sun. I just do it, right? So I'm going to explain it right now. And again, it's deprivation. If you're taking notes, which notes are amazing because you could read them, you could practice them in the mirror, which I like to do. Deprivation, emptiness, fullness. I say fulfillment, right? Because it's fulfilling you, fulfilling what you're meant to be. He just calls it fulfill and giving, right? And so it's oh my God, deprivation, emptiness, fullness, and giving. So in deprivation, it's that thing that you want. Maybe I should look at this just so he has it a little. He has some quick kind of explanations to it. And when I looked at it, I kind of like put my own explanation to it. So he has deprivation. So it's like feeling the deprivation of that thing that you want so bad, and you feel it. And the thing is you want it as intensely as possible. And you go full bore in your mind about what it's like to have that thing. I personally use images of it. And I just see images, like eidetic images, I guess, of these things, that I want. Oh, I need this, I need that. And then I just see it's a really bad pattern, but I live into it and I live intensely as possible. And then I totally forget about the thing that supposedly I want, whether it could be food, it could be this, it could be that. And then I look internally, and now you're going to the second acronym, which is emptiness, right? I'm kind of looking inside myself. That was, it's a feeling which was once a feeling of deprivation. It's now a void. So I'm looking at this empty space inside of me, and I'm staying calm, and I'm staying serene to it, and I'm looking at it, objectively. And to me, it's just like a universe with all little bright stars in it. And I get good with it. I'm like, that's the energy. And all of a sudden, the third is fulfillment. That's where the life force comes in. And that's where you bring the tool of the black sun. I actually use a blue sun because blue is my favorite color. And blue, I just love blue. I think blue is a giving color. Blue is a teaching color. Blue is a professing color. So I literally see this blue sun from like this empty, vast void coming up slowly and expanding. And it's still covered with the darkness of the thing that's preventing me from doing what I need to do. And then it starts to illuminate. And as it goes up in my void, my mental imagination starts to expand out. And I feel it. And I do this feeling where I'm like, I'm being given energy. I'm being given this energetic being, this energetic feeling of positivity. And it's not coming externally, and then all of a sudden, I'm moving from the fullness because I feel it. I feel energized, and then I'm giving, and then I feel the blue energy just giving out to the universe. It kind of like just floods out of me, right? And when it, in the giving here, he says, from the depths of the void, we're in fullness now. Imagine a black sun descending. I say blue sun descends, and it's funny. I actually put a blue sun on my phone. Look at that. Proof, man, proof. Okay, just one more time. I want to prove it to you again. Bam. And by putting that on there, it just reminds me because I notice, and I'll just finish it and then I'll talk about this. But then you're expanding yourself until you become one with its warm, like potential living energy, and that's a life force. Then it's giving, you're redirecting the attention back outside into the outside world, and that black sun energy will overflow, surging out of you. As it enters the world, it becomes pure white. I'm reading his words. It becomes a pure white light of infinite giving, right? And what you're doing is you feel that energy. And as you practice this, like I've had to do it, like, remember I was out to eat with a girlfriend of mine and we were sitting to eat and she's like, we should, get this. And I'm like, wait, you know what? No, thank you. And I had to do that exercise literally within a few seconds and then realize, there's a larger me at play here. And I have certain goals and alignments. So I just did that because I knew it didn't serve me. It truly didn't serve me. And then I made another decision and I was over it, right? And I'm drinking water and the water filled the space. But the thing was, when you do this over and over and over and over and over and over, and sometimes you give in. Sometimes you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go into my little addiction. But then I notice a pattern of that and then I hate it. I'm like, well, I got to wake up really early. I have a guest in the morning. I have a client in the morning because I've been doing a lot of my calls from home now. And I'm doing this, and I find when I do what I said I would do, I'm integral with myself. And when I feel that blue sun and that life force surge out of me, I know I'm actually getting more out of it, right? And it's really serving me, and it's really helping me. And by doing that deprivation, depriving myself of the thing that I think I want, but I don't, but I'm feeling it so intensely that, whatever it is, and then the emptiness that it causes by not having, and just getting calm and feeling that emptiness and being okay with it, saying, you know what, that's a part of it. Sometimes you don't get what you want, you got to feel calm around it. And the giving, right? I mean, the fullness. And then I feel the full from the blue sun expanding through me and out into the universe. And then it goes into the giving aspect, and all that energy pours out of me. And once you do this and you get this imagery of it, you just feel more powerful. And when you look back on your week, I do a lot of reflection. And when I reflect back on my week and I use this tool, I notice how much it benefits me. I notice how much the advantage of having this and being able to do it when another lower channel type energy wants to flood through me, right? It doesn't mean I'm not going to do that in the future, but by having this tool in place, it helps and serves a bigger means and a bigger purpose of what my truth and what my meaning and what my mission is and what I'm doing. So I see a few of you peeking in here. I think that's awesome, and I appreciate you. And the thing is, over time, by filling up from the inside with the energy, the whole relationship with the outside world changes, right? And I'm reading a little bit from my notes. You'll be able to bring something to the world rather than trying to extract from something from it, because that's what we do. We think, when we give into these habits, we think we're fulfilling something when it's actually taking from us, right? It's not serving us, and then we're doing what Phil Stutz calls. He calls it part X. Like, some people call it the devil, some people call it the lower self, the lower inhibited self. But when you use the Black Sun tool, which I'm terming the Blue Sun tool, it just serves you, to a deeper purpose. And you start noticing these impulses that just don't serve you. And for some people, it's shopping. One of my clients, one of my guests, she was an impulse shopper. And she would shop on impulse and just say, oh, I need that thing. And then she just end up doing it. But once she started using this tool, right, it just served her. And she realized, wait, my greater goal is this, not this. I don't need this right now. And she used it as a reward system. When she actually got the thing that she wanted, that would be one of her rewards, instead of just instantly giving into the thing, that didn't serve her. And she used this tool, and this tool becomes a resource. And what happens is you get so good at doing it, it just becomes a part of what you're doing. I'm going to make another video about it, and I'm going to just show you a picture from the book, which I think could kind of be helpful. Maybe I'll just hold it up and you guys can see it. And it's kind of like just a drawn picture, and I'm going to draw it up on the board. I'm going to do another video, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube. But you can kind of see, of what this exercise does. If you're just coming late to this, go back and listen to what I'm talking about, right? But as you see, there's a higher channel of energy that we're trying to achieve in life. And then there's a lower channel of energy that we actually serve, and we do the things that don't serve us. And what happens, there's these little barricades at the bottom that actually bounce back up to our higher self when we become disciplined, right? When we just do what we say we're going to do, and instead of listening to those little impulses, because sometimes those impulses are strong, right? And if they're repeated for so long, it's like we're pickled. It's like we're pickled, and we just do the thing without even thinking about it. And, we don't worry about the consequences until later. And you know what? Consequences, right? Consequently, just keep you from moving forward, right? Instead of up and out of wherever you are, right? With your life, with whatever you're doing. And I think it's a great book. If anyone should invest in anything, and they're maybe a coach, maybe they're a consultant, advisor, has employees, I believe this tool is just helpful, and it's just something to teach. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to do another video on actually explaining this. So that was my YouTube Live. Take care, guys. Have a great day.